All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. BRICS leaders say Afghanistan should not become a sanctuary for terror groups to attack other countries. Call for peace and stability in Afghanistan. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inducts medium-range surface-to-air missile defence system into the Indian Air Force. President Ramnath Kovind appoints new governors in 4 states including Tamil Nadu and Uttarakhand. Election Commission announces dates for by-polls to 7 Rajya Sabha seats. ICMR says double dose of vaccination is 97.5% effective in preventing COVID mortality. CBDT extends last dates for filing of income tax returns to 31st December. Government to release over 56,000 crore rupees in current financial year to clear all pending export incentives. Festival of Ganesh Chaturthi begins today. And in cricket, 5th and final test between England and India begins this afternoon at Old Trafford in Manchester. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing. Focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. BRICS leaders have said that Afghanistan should not become a sanctuary for terror groups to attack other countries. India's BRICS Sherpa and Secretary in Ministry of External Affairs, Sanjay Bhattacharya, said there was a very strong consensus that Afghanistan should not become a reason for problems in the neighborhood. The BRICS leaders called for peace and stability in Afghanistan. The 13th BRICS summit, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, adopted a counter-terrorism action plan for the implementation of the BRICS counter-terrorism strategy. They expressed concern at the continuing conflicts and violence in different parts of the world. Mr. Bhattacharya said there was a strong echo of need for reform of not just the UN Security Council, but other institutions of global governance system as well. He said BRICS nations have reiterated their commitment to enhancing intra-BRICS cooperation under the 3 pillars: political and security, economic and financial, and cultural and people-to-people exchanges. Earlier, addressing the summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that BRICS has made many achievements in the last 1.5 decades, and it is an influential voice for the emerging economies of the world. In his opening remarks, Mr. Modi said the platform has also been useful for focusing on the priorities of developing countries. Mr. Modi said BRICS has started several strong organizations such as the New Development Bank, Contingency Reserve Arrangement and Energy Research Cooperation Platform.
ब्रिक्स ने न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक, कंटीजेंसी रिजर्व अरेंजमेंट और एनर्जी रिसर्च कोऑपरेशन प्लेटफॉर्म जैसी मजबूत संस्थाओं का सृजन किया है। निसंदेह गर्व करने के लिए हमारे पास बहुत कुछ है, मगर यह भी महत्वपूर्ण है कि हम आत्मसंतुष्ट न हो और हमें यह सुनिश्चित करना है कि ब्रिक्स अगले 15 वर्षों में और परिणामदायी हो। भारत ने अपनी अध्यक्षता के लिए जो थीम चुना है वह यही प्राथमिकता दर्शाता है। ब्रिक्स एट 15 इंट्रा ब्रिक्स कोऑपरेशन फॉर कंटिन्यूटी, कंसोलिडेशन एंड कंसेंसस। ये 4 C एक प्रकार से हमारी ब्रिक्स भागीदारी के मूल सिद्धांत हैं।
Mr. Modi said the BRICS counter-terrorism action plan was adopted recently and the space agencies of member countries are also working together in remote sensing satellite constellations. He said intra-BRICS trade will get easier with better cooperation between the customs departments of member nations.
हमारी अंतरिक्ष एजेंसियों के बीच रिमोट सेंसिंग सैटेलाइट कॉन्स्टेलेशन समझौते से सहयोग का एक नया अध्याय शुरू हो रहा है. हमारे कस्टम्स विभागों के बीच सहयोग से इंट्रा ब्रिक्स व्यापार आसान होगा. एक वर्चुअल नेटवर्क के रूप में ब्रिक्स वैक्सीनेशन अनुसंधान और विकास केंद्र शुरू करने पर भी सहमति बनी है. ब्रिक्स अलायंस ऑन ग्रीन टूरिज्म एक और नई पहल है. इन सभी नए इनिशिएटिव्स ने न सिर्फ हमारे नागरिकों को लाभ मिलेगा, हमारा ब्रिक्स संगठन भी आने वाले समय में प्रासंगिक रहेगा.
The meeting was attended by Russian President Vladimir Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, and Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro.
India has called for inclusive dispensation in Afghanistan, which represents all sections of Afghan society. Addressing the UN Security Council debate on Afghanistan, India's permanent representative to UN, T.S. Tirumurti, said, a broad-based, inclusive and representative formation through inclusive negotiated political settlement would gain greater international acceptability and legitimacy. He said the voices of Afghan women should be heard, aspirations of Afghan children be realized, and the rights of minorities should be protected. Saying that the humanitarian assistance should be provided urgently to the country, he underlined the need to provide unhindered access to the UN and other agencies in this regard. In a major boost of the country's military infrastructure, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh officially inducted the medium-range surface-to-air missile air defence system into the Air Force in Rajasthan. The MRSAM defence system was inducted into the 2204 Squadron of the Indian Air Force in Jaisalmer yesterday.
यह सिस्टम खराब मौसम में भी 70 किलोमीटर की रेंज तक कई लक्ष्यों को एक साथ भेजने में पूरी तरह से सक्षम है. अनेक कड़े परीक्षणों में इसकी सफलता इसकी विश्वसनीयता का प्रमाण है. विरोधी लड़ाकू विमानों, हेलीकॉप्टरों, यूएवी और इसी तरह की अन्य सिस्टम्स को निपटाने में सक्षम यह मिसाइल सिस्टम हमारी एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम में एक गेम चेंजर साबित होगा, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है. एयरफोर्स ने इस मिसाइल का इंडक्शन रक्षा क्षेत्र में आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर बढ़ते कदमों का भी एक बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण है.
Earlier yesterday, Mr. Rajnath Singh and Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari jointly inaugurated an emergency landing facility for the IAF at Satta Gandhav stretch on the NH 925A near Barmer in Rajasthan.
President Ramnath Kovind has appointed new governors in Tamil Nadu and Uttarakhand. Nagaland Governor R.N. Ravi has been appointed as Governor of Tamil Nadu. Lieutenant General retired Gurmeet Singh has been appointed Governor of Uttarakhand. Governor of Tamil Nadu, Banwari Lal Purohit, who was holding additional charge of the Governor of Punjab, has been appointed as regular Governor of Punjab. The President's Secretariat said Governor of Assam, Professor Jagdish Mukhi, has been appointed to discharge the functions of the Governor of Nagaland in addition to his own duties until regular arrangements are made. The Election Commission, EC, has announced dates for by-polls to 7 Rajya Sabha seats that have fallen vacant due to various reasons like resignations, death and end of tenure of members. According to a notification issued by the EC, there are 2 such seats in Tamil Nadu and 1 each in West Bengal, Assam, Maharashtra, Puducherry and Madhya Pradesh. The polls to all these 7 seats will take place on October 4th, the EC said. The EC said in its order that all broad guidelines of COVID-19 have to be followed during the election process, that is, from the time of issue of notification to the counting of votes.
In a move to check unfair practices and bring transparency in the availability of edible oils, the Centre has asked states to take disclosures of stock of edible oil seeds and oils with the millers and stockists. This move is being made to ensure that there is no unfair practice and consequent rise of edible oils due to hoarding of any kind. This is not a stock limitation order of any kind. The Secretary Food and Public Distribution is expected to take a meeting with state officials today to take the matter further and ensure that compliance is done appropriately. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri co-chaired a virtual ministerial meeting with the U.S. Secretary of Energy, Ms. Jennifer Granholm, to launch the revamped U.S.-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership, SCEP. The SCEP is launched in accordance with U.S.-India Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Joe Biden at the Leaders Summit on Climate held in April this year. The two sides announced addition of a fifth pillar on emerging fuels, which signals joint resolve to promote cleaner energy fuels. A new India-US task force on biofuels was also announced to build on the scope of work on cooperation in biofuels sector. U.S. Secretary lauded India's renewable energy target of 450 gigawatt by 2030 and offered to closely collaborate in realization of this target by India. The two sides also announced rechristening of Gas Task Force to India-US Low Emissions Gas Task Force, which would continue to forge collaboration between US and Indian companies on innovative projects to support India's vision of gas-based economy.
Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav met Danish Minister for Climate, Energy and Utilities, Dan Jorgensen, to discuss general bilateral cooperation between India and Denmark in the areas of environment and climate change. Minister Dan Jorgensen is on a 5-day visit to India with a business delegation. In the meeting, Mr. Yadav acknowledged the historical and friendly ties between the two countries and highlighted the contributions of Denmark in the White Revolution in India. Both the ministers held discussion on Green Strategic Partnership and upcoming COP26 meeting. The National Mission for Clean Ganga organized Himalayan Divas in New Delhi in association with Nola Foundation yesterday. This year's theme is Contribution of Himalayas and Our Responsibilities. The event was part of the ongoing celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Himalaya Divas is celebrated every year on 9 September in Uttarakhand. It is celebrated with the aim to conserve Himalayan ecosystem and region. Explaining the significance of Himalayas, Director General National Mission for Clean Ganga, Rajiv Ranjan Mishra, raised concerns over unplanned urbanization in the Himalayas and said the Himalayan hill towns face several challenges because of poor building planning and designs, poor infrastructure, roads, sewage, water supply, and unprecedented cutting of trees.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. BRICS leaders say Afghanistan should not become a sanctuary for terror groups to attack other countries. Call for peace and stability in Afghanistan. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inducts medium-range surface-to-air missile defence system into Indian Air Force. President Ram Nath Kovind appoints new governors in 4 states including Tamil Nadu and Uttarakhand. Election Commission announces dates for by-polls to 7 Rajya Sabha seats. ICMR says double dose of vaccination is 97.5% effective in preventing COVID mortality. CBDT extends last dates for filing of income tax returns to 31st of December. Government to release over 56,000 crore rupees in current financial year to clear all pending export incentives. Festival of Ganesh Chaturthi begins today. And in cricket, 5th and final test between India and England begins this afternoon at Old Trafford in Manchester. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
स्वाधीनता आंदोलन के दौरान भारतीय जनमानस को उद्वेलित कर स्वतंत्रता का अलख जगाने और मातृभूमि के प्रति सेवा, समर्पण और त्याग की ज्वाला प्रज्वलित कर देने वाले अमर गीतों पर आधारित विशेष कार्यक्रम आजादी के तराने सुनना न भूलें। FM गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर प्रत्येक शुक्रवार शाम 4:45 पर परिक्रमा कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत आजादी के तराने सिर्फ आकाशवाणी पर।
Welcome back to the morning news. One dose of COVID-19 vaccine is 96.6% effective in prevention of death against the disease, while with the 2 doses, the effectiveness is 97.5%. Director General of Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, Dr. Balram Bhargav said this protective effectiveness of vaccine was revealed in an analysis done through synergizing data from CoWIN, COVID-19 India portal and COVID-19 testing portal. The Central Board of Direct Taxes has further extended the due dates for filing of income tax returns and various reports of audit for assessment year 2021-22. The decision was taken in consideration of difficulties reported by the taxpayers and other stakeholders in filing of income tax returns and various reports of audit for the assessment year 2021-22. The due date of furnishing of return of income for the assessment year 2021-22, which was earlier extended to 30th September, has been further extended to 31st of December. The due date of furnishing of report of audit for the previous year 2020-21, which was earlier extended to the 31st of October, has been further extended to the 15th of January next year.
The government has said that it will release 56,027 crore rupees in the current financial year itself in order to disburse all pending export incentives due to exporters. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said the amount will be disbursed to more than 45,000 exporters and the amount will be disbursed this year only. Mr. Goyal said the benefits will help sectors to maintain cash flows and meet export demand in international market. The amount is over and above duty remission of 12,454 crore rupees for the remission of duties and taxes on export products RODTEP scheme and 6,946 crore rupees for rebate of state and central levies and taxes ROSCTL scheme already announced. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, in collaboration with the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, launched the pilot drive Mabi Digital 3.0, a special campaign for digital onboarding and training for street vendors under PM Swanidhi scheme across 223 cities in the country. It was jointly launched by Housing and Urban Affairs Secretary Durga Shankar Mishra and Electronics and IT Secretary Ajay Prakash Sahni in a virtual event. As part of the central government's public outreach program for Jammu and Kashmir, Union Minister for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Narendra Singh Tomar arrived in Srinagar yesterday. We have more from our Srinagar correspondent.
Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar termed Kashmir region as an important part of the country in its progress and called Jammu and Kashmir as the crown of India. He maintained that the region play an important role in the progress and development of the country towards self-reliance. Counting the initiatives taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi since coming to power, Mr. Tomar said that numerous schemes have been implemented for farmers and growers' welfare throughout the country and there was also visible change on the ground. He complimented the Jammu and Kashmir administration and Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and said that due to certain problems, the region had remained behind from the progress. However, due to the concerted efforts of PM Modi, Jammu and Kashmir is progressing and playing its important part in the progress of the country. The minister assured the farmers and growers from Kashmir that the central government is with them in every respect and hoped that in the coming days we will see a new and dynamic Jammu and Kashmir. Sunil Kohl, AR News, Srinagar.
The festival of Ganesh Chaturthi is being celebrated today across the country with great devotion. The day marks the birth of Lord Ganesha, who is a symbol of wisdom, prosperity and good fortune. People place clay idols of Lord Ganesha in their home and worship them during the 10-day-long festival. Ganesh Chaturthi is a major attraction in Maharashtra where people celebrate it with great zeal. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted people on As the nation celebrates 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, in which we bring you glimpse of India's freedom struggle every day.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
In today's episode, we will talk about two great sons of the soil, Bagha Jatin and Govind Ballabh Pant.
This day in 1915, one of the fiercest freedom fighters of his times, Jatindranath Mukherjee, had the final battle with the British and was martyred.
Jatindranath was born in the Kushtia subdivision of Nadia district of undivided Bengal, in what is now Bangladesh. Jatin loved all Indians irrespective of class or caste or religions, right from his early days.
Once, to save the villagers, Jatin fought hand-to-hand with a man-eating Royal Bengal tiger for 3 hours and killed the tiger with a Gorkha dagger. This is how he came to be known as Bagha Jatin.
As a college student, Jatindranath joined a relief camp organized by Sister Nivedita. Sister Nivedita introduced Jatin to Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda instructed Jatin to take up the mission to serve the motherland.
The nation was seething with discontent against the British Raj. It was Sri Aurobindo who trusted Jatin to create a secret society. That secret society was known as Jugantar, and Bagha Jatin became its commander-in-chief.
Jatin's clarion call, Amra Morbo, Jogat Jogbe, meaning we shall die to awaken the nation, evoked the currents of Indian nationalism. Jatin inspired many young minds, including Ras Bihari Bose, who described Jatin a real leader of men with fiery energy and personality.
In the year 1914, when the First World War broke out, Jatin approached the German Crown Prince for the delivery of arms for his fight against the British. M.N. Roy was asked to coordinate with the Germans for the arrival of the shipment.
Jatin, along with his followers, was hiding near Balasore, where the shipload of arms from Germany was planned to be received. But the information of this consignment was leaked by an Irish agent and the British attacked them.
While the British side was armed with highly sophisticated rifles, Jatin and his team fought with pistols. Jatin and his followers fought hard.
But Bagha Jatin was seriously wounded in the battle, and the next day he succumbed to injuries in Balasore City Hospital.
The poet Nazrul Islam hailed the Battle of Balasore as the Haldi Ghat of New India. Balasore budi balamer tir nabo bharoter haldi ghat uday godhuli ronge ranga hoye uthechilo jotha astopat anil gagan gambud chhoa kapiya uthilo nil achal অস্ত্রবীরে ছুটি ধরে আনে মধ্য গগনে কোন পাগল আপন বুকের রক্ত ঝলকে পাংশুর বীরে করে লোহি বিমানে বিমানে বাজে বন্দুকি থর থর কাঁপে স্বর্গী দেবকী মাতার বুকের পাথর নড়িল কারায় অকস্মাৎ বিনা মেঘে হল দৈত্যপুরীর প্রাসাদে সেদিন বজ্রপাত।
Govind Ballabh Pant, a legal luminary and a freedom fighter, was born on 10th of September 1887 in Khoont village near Almora.
He participated in the protests against the Simon Commission in 1928. Pant was targeted by the police and he sustained severe injuries which prevented Pant from straightening his back for the rest of his life.
He was imprisoned many times during freedom struggle. In 1930, Pant was arrested and imprisoned for several weeks for organizing the Salt March. He was again arrested in 1933 and remained in jail for 7 months for attending a session of the Provincial Congress.
Again in 1940, Pant was imprisoned for helping organize the Satyagraha And in 1942, he was sent to Ahmednagar jail for 3 years for signing the Quit India resolution.
After independence, Govind Ballabh Pant served as the first Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh.
He left for his heavenly abode on the 7th of March 1961 at the age of 74, while still in office as the Home Minister of the country.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar AIR News ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
The fifth and final cricket test between India and England will begin today at Old Trafford, Manchester. The match will begin at 3:30 p.m. Indian time.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai are likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light to moderate rain. Kolkata, the minimum temperature in the city was 28 degrees, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees Celsius. Jammu, the maximum temperature will be around 23, while the minimum shall be around 32. Srinagar, the minimum temperature was 16 degrees, while the maximum will be around 29 degrees. Leh will have a mainly clear sky. Gilgit, the maximum temperature may rise up to 35 degrees, while the lower limit may touch 15 degrees. Muzaffarabad, the temperatures will hover between 20 and 37 degrees Celsius. Guwahati may have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Imphal, the minimum temperature was recorded at 22 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Shillong, the temperatures will move from a minimum of 17 to a maximum of 26 degrees. Aizawl is predicted to have a generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain. Kohima, the temperatures will rise from a minimum of 18 to a maximum of around 27 degrees. Itanagar, the temperatures will move from 22 degrees to an upper limit of 34 degrees. Gangtok, temperatures may hover between 17 and 23 degrees Celsius. Agartala will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Agassi is expected to have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum and maximum temperature will be around 26 and 31 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers today lead with the endorsement of the New Delhi Declaration by the BRICS member countries. The Hindustan Times writes, Afghanistan soil should not be a terror sanctuary. With inauguration of an emergency landing strip, NH925, first Indian highway to be used for landing, Rajnath Gadkari unveil landing strip 50 kilometers from Pakistan border, informs the Asian Age. Maintaining its position, IIT Madras retains top varsity spot for third year in row, states the Pioneer. The Hindu on its front page writes, Centre kicks off major public outreach in J&K with the agile animal venturing into human habitat. Leopard sighted in Tughlakabad, public on alert, informs the Times of India. And finally, the Statesman takes note of archaeological excavation currently in progress in Tamil Nadu. TN excavations indicate 3,200-year-old civilization.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. BRICS leaders say Afghanistan should not become a sanctuary for terror groups to attack other countries. Call for peace and stability in Afghanistan. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inducts medium-range surface-to-air missile defence system into Indian Air Force. President Ramnath Kovind appoints new governors in 4 states including Tamil Nadu and Uttarakhand. Election Commission announces dates for bypolls to 7 Rajya Sabha seats. ICMR says double dose of vaccination is 97.5% effective in preventing COVID mortality. CBDT extends last dates for filing of income tax returns to 31st December. Government to release over 56,000 crore rupees in current financial year to clear all pending export incentives. Festival of Ganesh Chaturthi begins today. And in cricket, 5th and final test between India and England begins this afternoon at Old Trafford in Manchester. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.